getting my raiders now finally, and I'm building a second bestiary and a spirit lodge all at the same time, getting all this stuff going. The idea in this replay was for me to go shamans for an extra bit of control, rather than going for spirit link, which would help against going against focus fire of the fiends. But he did have ghouls, a good amount of early ghouls with him, so it wasn't a big deal. You'll see in that case I used chain lightning more as a single target nuke to get the last hit on that ghoul before he town portal. So I did get that accomplished there. At this point in the game, it's in every game I play almost versus any opponent, but especially I guess versus undead, is there's no need for me to push him right now. I just need to kind of keep tabs on him and keep him contained. So I got my wolves at his expansion here, and I got one over here. I'm actually going to move this secondary wolf that was at his expansion to kind of see if I can cut him off if he's heading towards my base right now. He hasn't seen my base yet, and normally an undead will do their best to try to hit you before you hit tier 2 or right as you hit tier 2 to either take out your burrows or to take out any tech buildings. So yeah, he sees my wolf here, and I'm going to give it to him. I can't believe he gets that kill. I've fed him at least 3 or 4 wolf kills here. I could have easily resummoned them, I think. I don't know how much mana I had. Maybe I couldn't have. I had like 90 mana, I think. So yeah, building my shamans here. I got a shaman adept training and building 1 shaman, and by the time that 1 shaman comes out, the timing should be about right to where that fortress is complete, and I can research shaman master training. By that time, I'm hoping to have at least 2 wyverns, hopefully more than that, hopefully 4. So that's the kind of plan, the kind of outline to how you want to use bloodlusted wyverns. And that's typically a good strategy to go versus someone who's not going to have a lot of dispel, or at least easy dispel, and everyone knows undead doesn't have easy dispel. You know, their destroyers being their real only means of dispel. And Purge is a really good idea for extra control. I've got Stomp, I've got Ensnare, I've got Purge. It's going to make it a really difficult situation for him. So he brought his demon. He was clearing out this Goblin Merchant. That was an obvious choice, I think, for him to creep at. I was mainly just going there to scout it, but he's doing a really good job microing his fiends in and out here. One thing he's not doing, and that I've seen a lot of undead players doing lately, is with their Lich opting for Frost Armor, and that way they can see whatever units I'm targeting. Usually an Orc player will force all his units to attack 1 target and put Frost Armor on that, and therefore kind of let me get slowed there. And it's a really, you know, in addition to adding armor to the unit, you know, which helps when you're trying to coil, it also makes it so my units get slowed movement speed. So that's a nice strategy that I've seen a lot of undeads doing lately, but this guy didn't do this game. He was able to force the town portal from me. Definitely a good option for him at this point. He's healing up a little bit with his statues, and I'm trying to, as quickly as I can, to rejuve my army and kind of, now that a fortress has been completed, let's see how my timing was. Pretty good on that to get my master witch doctor training and getting 2 more wyverns going. I should have about 4 wyverns out. Ideally, I'm going to have 6 to 8 at the end of this, but we'll see how that goes. Now this is an obvious time for my opponent to go to my expansion spot. Unfortunately, my expansion's been running since almost the beginning of the game, so I've already gotten my money's worth out of this expansion. I don't want to lose it, however, since right now I'm just now starting to get into my wyvern populating my army, and they are very, you know, resource intensive. So I've got a good army advantage here. I'm at 64, he's at 47. So I bring my army in, I use a speed scroll. I miss some ensnares here. I do get a chain lightning off on and I think I'm going to get a purge off. Oh no, it wasn't ensnares I got. I think I used purge. There, it was purge. I didn't have any ensnare. What am I talking about? No raiders yet. Or at all. So he missed a coil there, and using Stomp and Chain Lightning, I was able to kill that Lich. Training my abilities, again going Endurance Aura now on my Torn Chieftain eventually, whenever I'm doing that. That's a good secondary skill. It's not a good idea unless you have a lot of int items really on your Torn Chieftain to kind of go both Shockwave and Stomp, because you won't really have the mana to keep doing that over and over again. It's a good idea to focus on one. That's a pretty common thing. So Bloodlust finished researching. That kind of is an intimidation factor on my opponent. I do need to be researching Venom Bolts. There I go. And Venom Spears are being researched right now. Again, when you hit tier 3 and you're going Wyverns and Venom Bolts is a good idea. It's Dryad slow basically on an air unit, which is really, really killer. Although all these units that he's going right now aren't as weak towards piercing, with Bloodlust and Wyverns in mass already do a good bit of damage. Generally, I'm going to use them to target on Obsidian statues. They're the easiest target unless I can quickly get another kind of target out there. So I got to repopulate my army, get some more shamans, get some more wyverns in there. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 coming. Another shaman. Some more wyverns going. 6 or 7 wyverns. Able to get an ensnare now. And a stomp. This was a really bad stomp, actually. The way you want to try to use stomp is to try to stomp the Death Knight before he gets the chance to use his Death Coil and healing his units. Unfortunately, there's some bad timing there, but I was able to get a surround off using Stomp and Snare and Purge on his Death Knight. So he says GG here, and he leaves the game relatively quickly. Some players won't, so just kind of keep focus firing on the buildings and units as you can. Again, this is about my average game length. It's about 15 minutes. It's 14:49 it says. Most of my games end at 15 minutes, and I think that's because I push pretty much all at the same time, and most Orc games, as you'll see, probably last about 15 minutes, because if they're unsuccessful in their push, usually your opponent's going to be able to counter you really effectively, since you've wasted all your resources on basically trying to basically on that push, and it's going to be hard for you to recuperate after that. Orc isn't a race that's able to repopulate their army as quickly as Night Elf is able to quickly after you kill seemingly their whole entire army returns again. So that was Chain Lightning and Stomp versus Undead. I didn't really, I guess, talk too much about how much Stomp was, or how good Stomp is versus Undead, except at the end there a little bit. Hex works the same way. You want to try to time your Hex, since it doesn't last that long on heroes. Time it to where you think your opponent's Death Knight might be using it to heal it, or might have the opportunity to heal a unit, or like another hero, for instance, like the Lich, and hex that Death Knight so he can't do that. So it's the same principle behind it. Hex I like a lot more, actually, than Stomp, but I don't like Farseer and Farseer and the Shadowhunter together in most of my games. Normally, if I'm going to use Shadowhunter, I'm going to use Blade Master, because Hex and the Focus Fire from the Blade Master works out a little bit more effectively, I think. Allows you to separate and do something. And it's an extra bit of control. I mean, you're going to have Hex, you're going to have Ensnare, you're going to have Purge. There's a lot of ways that you can kind of stop your opponent's army, and Orc is a control race. So regardless of what you heard in the past, use all of your means possible, abuse the stuff out of them. And you will be successful in your Orc play. And Snare, very, very good ability. Obviously, it's nothing new there. That's why Raiders are a primary target of most any opponent that you're going to face. So use that to your advantage too. There's a few points during that game where I was able to use my opponent's zeal for killing my Raiders to kind of bring his whole army into my army even closer. So see how far you can stretch your opponent. And really, it's on an opponent, on a basis depending on who you're playing, obviously. But definitely check that out. What's some other things I want to go over? Oh, again, I'm going to mention the member audio commentary section. I've been doing it in every audio commentary today, and I'm going to do it in this one as well. Check out the member audio commentary section. There is some great content there by some great people who put their heart and soul into it, for the most part. And definitely leave them comments on the WCReplays.com forums in the member audio commentary section. Let them know what you thought about their audio commentary, and let them know, maybe how they can improve, or what you liked and what you didn't like. And heck, do the same thing for me. Do the same thing for all the staff people. We read all your comments, and we check our PM boxes usually on a regular basis. And I try to respond to everything that I get in my PM box. So if you have any questions for me, or if you have any advice or tips, or if you liked what I did, go ahead and send me a comment. I definitely appreciate it. Since I do this all voluntarily, my only reward is knowing that you guys appreciated the time and effort I put into these things, and hopefully you guys were entertained and educated. But that's about it. I've got another 1 or 2 audio commentaries I'm going to be doing today. Probably just one. My voice is killing me. You probably noticed so far, but bunch of short audio commentaries, generally around 20 minutes today. So maybe I'll be able to compile them all into one big zip file, and we'll just give you a marathon of audio commentaries. I haven't decided any of this yet, so I'm just talking out my ass at the moment. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a nice day. Bye.